How's it going, guys? Today we're going to be replacing the bushings on late Z31 tension rods. So the early Z31s had kind of just like a threaded rod with a nut on the end. I do have a video on replacing the bushings on those ones with polyurethane as well. It was about 4 years ago, so just search back through my channel and you'll find it. But these are, I believe, August 1987 and upwards, have this style of tension rod. So check your door jamb, see what year it was made. If it says 4-87, it's not 4 out of 87, it's not that unique of a car. No, that was just made in the 4th month of 1987. So don't get that mixed up. But if you have a late style, it's going to look like this, and we're going to go ahead and replace them. Now, this is a little, I don't want to say difficult, it's time consuming to get it done, but I was able to do it with pretty much just regular hand tools. I'll show you what I'm using, and it is fairly easy. You can see I've already done this one, and it's really pretty easy. So let's go ahead and talk about this. Getting out of the car, these are two 17mm nuts. You just undo them from the control arm, and then just pop them out with like a flat blade or something. It'll be stuck in there, but just pop it up and out. Shouldn't be too hard. And then this end, it's either a 19mm or like a 21mm. I could not remember, but just put one on one side, another on another side, and crack it loose. This one actually was pretty, actually you don't need two, it's just one. It's got like a weird little hook thing that goes into the bracket. But these ones were torqued pretty decently, so you're going to go on ahead and just put like a bar or something on the end of your bolt, and or the end of your ratchet, and just kind of lift really far away so you get that maximum torque, and eventually it'll come off. It's a little bit weird, but they'll come out. And then if it gets stuck up in the bracket, just stick a flat blade or something and pry it down and out. They'll just slot right out. Not too big of an issue. But now that you got them out of the car, they're going to look like this. Specifically, it's going to have a core in it still. You can see I've pressed the core out of this one. These were pretty blown. They were just really bad, cracking already, so they definitely needed replacement. These ones were actually so bad that the control arm on the driver's side had been getting pushed backwards, and it slotted the control arm bolt hole in the subframe. I'll see if I have a picture of that. It is pretty crazy, but that's not something you want to see, and that is because this tension rod bushing was failing, and it was letting it push backwards and slot into that control, or the control arm bolt hole. So now you got it out, we're going to go and take it, and then I use something like this. This is just a ball joint press set, number 57023 from AutoZone. You can rent this. This was probably $100-something, but you get it back when you return it, so it is technically free. You just have to have the money up front, and then you can return it. You can go ahead and take it, put the bottom cup like that, and then a big cup like that, set the tension rod on top, and then you just tighten down this bolt, and this little boy pushes on the top of that right there, and it'll just boop right out. It's really not that hard. If you have good tension rods and the rubber is all intact, it might be a bit more difficult. It might be worth taking a blade and trying to cut the rings around this, just to try to cut some of that rubber up and make it not really stick as much. But it shouldn't be too much of an issue. It should just pop right out. I really did not have to put much torque on it. Now I'm going to go ahead and set this up on the bench vise, and we'll go ahead and talk about what's needed next. Alright, we got it set up in the bench vise right here, and let's just do a quick walkthrough of what's going to happen. So there's actually two kind of races in here. This is the center one. It's kind of like a weird little cage thing. And then here is the outer one, and you can see I just cut a groove in it, and it actually just came out. So what we're going to go ahead and do is use a hacksaw. You can see I don't have a blade on this one, because we're going to stick the blade inside here and then put the hacksaw on around it. And we're going to cut two grooves. You can see that one right, you can see that one right there. It's got two grooves in it. It's not too difficult to do this. It's actually very thin steel, so it is very easy. Don't let this lip fool you. It is just a U-shaped pattern, so it is rubber inside. So what we're going to go ahead and do is cut two slots in it, and then bend out this inner race. This is just going to help lessen the pressure. You can see because it's inside, it actually will fold first. We'll go ahead and just cut that, throw it away, and then once we get this inner one out, we'll just bend up a little bit of this ring. You can see I didn't even have to go all the way through. I didn't get all the way done. And this literally just fell out. It just slipped right out. So we're going to go ahead and just make 2 little cuts, one on one side, just a little bit to the other, just to give it a little bit of space to decompress if it needs, and then pull it right out. Alright, so I've only made 1 slit in it so far, but that's all we need to do to cut through that inner race. So we can take a flat blade and stick it in between the outer race and the inner, and just bend it up like this. Hopefully you guys can see that's coming up. And what we're going to go ahead and do is just take out this inner one, because why cut through this inner one twice if we can just cut through it once? I'm just going to take this flat blade, bend these up, kind of crunch it in a little bit, and then pull the inner race out. And then we'll go ahead and make a second cut over here. Alright, maybe you can see we've got 2 slots, and I started a little bit of prying here. I just kind of pried up on this side, pried up on that side, and now it's enough for me to get this here. And I can just kind of peel it up as we go back along. And what I'm going to go ahead and do is just kind of start peeling it back, and at some point this whole thing is just going to want to move, and you're just going to pull it on out, and it should come right out. So let me go ahead and pry that up and take this out. Alright, so as I was prying this up, one side actually just decided to completely snap up above the other, and you can see it just pulls right out. Super easy, just like that. Now I'm going to go ahead and take some sandpaper, just clean the inside a little bit because it's kind of disgusting. And then if you know anything about polyurethane, you never actually want to put it in dry, so to speak. We're going to go ahead and grab some grease. We're going to grease up every single surface that the polyurethane touches, because if we don't, 1, it can squeak, and 2, it's going to decrease the lifespan, and we want to keep these in as good a condition as possible. So we're going to go ahead and put some grease on the outside, and then also on the inside where this little rod is going to go. So let's go ahead, clean this up, and put some stuff in it. Alright guys, as you can see, the bushings are in. I got grease all in them. They're very happy. Prothane usually includes their own grease if you buy the Prothane kit. I got these ones secondhand, not used, but previously owned by somebody else. And these were pretty cheap. I think I paid 40 bucks for them. I think the Z store has them, but they're like $100. So just go ahead and ask around if you're on the Facebook groups. That's a really good place to find them. And then, if not, $100 isn't bad, because the original OEM ones are like the exact same price, and they have to be pressed in with like an actual press, not just, you know, with your hands. So, hope this was informational, guys. I'm going to go ahead and install them. They're really super simple to install. Just bolt them back in. I hope you guys thought that this was helpful, and obviously if you have any questions or comments, drop them down below and I will do my best to answer, and I will see you guys later.